for the next night.
How are you?
Wednesday night, how are you? Good to
It's
see you.
cool in here, but we're warm inside.
Ah,
And the
ah.
light of Hasidus and the light of Halakha.
Let's hope that also works to warm up the house.
Work?
That's broken. Is that one working?
No, the audio and video work.
Yeah. Shkoyach. Okay, Rabbi say you have some participants. I see. Oh, Rabbi Davis is here.
Yeah.
Hilchas Chanukah is which siman? Kuf Mem, I think. Kuf Lamites. Oh, Kuf Lamites. We are holding Siv Zayin. Mitzvahs ner Chanukah lahadlik bepesach hasamach u'shus mishum v'sumei nisa, to light by the doorway because to spread the nest. V'kacha yoisim is bana mishnah v'gemara. That's how things were done during the times of the Mishnah v'gemara. B'zman hazeh shanadorim beina umois, that we are not living amongst only Yidden, we live amongst the goyim. Madlikim mebai yishudar, by we light inside the house. If you have a window to the Rosh Hashanah, light it there. And if not, Madlik Eitzah Pesach, we light by the doorway in the house, not by Rosh Hashanah outside, because we are living Bein Ha'umais amongst other nations. Mitzvah Shiyinicha Echana B'Tefach Hasamoch LePesach Mismoil. It's a mitzvah to place it on the tefach closest to the next to the doorway on the left side. Why on the left? Mezuzah yamin. The Chanukah, so you have mezuzah on your right side. When you're standing in middle and you're lighting the candles, you're behind you. You're going to have the mezuzah. In front of you, you have the Chanukah. You have this encompassing light of both mitzvahs surrounding you. That's the best thing, is not to put it in the tefach, the fist, near the Pesach, to put it actually in the actual thing. By me, this is very difficult. By me, because I have a very one area and it's very tiny. Everyone walks by with the kids. I to put it next to it, not.
You can't do it because the
Not
door is
gonna
too
work.
narrow.
Yeah, it's too narrow, the door, and I only have one doorway. It's too narrow, so there's no way to be able to walk through. If they're walking, everyone's gonna blow out the candles. It's not gonna.
And to do it on the
I
glass
got to do it by the glass. I have a glass door.
the glass door that go to the porch. Isn't it the best?
That's what I do. But I'm not able to stand inside. That I'm a silver really b'mitzvahs because there's a glass door.
No. But the point is right. It's a right and a left.
I also have the window. The reality is I have the window also.
It's better
But I have and I'm putting it opposite the mezuzah.
Front window, like.
Yeah. Lamaisa Sidim did not know, even though in Halacha it said that in the house, the better place to choose in the house is first the window, and then because you have to nissa to the outside of the house, or to place it by the doorway in the house. Chassidim held that you put it by the doorway.
By the door in the house.
Litvisha light by the window.
Right.
By the window they light. So you see all of them flappish lighting by the window. Sidim, I don't know if all of them, but a lot of them, most of them light in the house by the doorway. At least their rebbes do. If not all the folk of the Hasidim do it, but their rebbes still light it the original way. You could see all these nice pictures and videos of how these different rebbes are lighting. See the rebbes, and they're all lighting by the doorway in the house, not by the window, because that was by Hasidim held the inyan of being surrounded by mitzvahs, that this held over the idea of the chaloin. Because really today, the main persuminissa we have is in the home, because we're anyways not lighting outside. So this is a difference in Minhagim and Eretz Yisrael. You hear that a lot of people lighting it already, really lighting it the way the Zman Mishnah Gemara, the Pesach B'Rishus Harabim, right? Yeah. We lighting it by the Pesach inside the house. They're lighting by the Pesach that exits to the Rishus Harabim. So they're really doing the mitzvah the way it is in the Mishnah the Gemara, which all the years in Galus, it wasn't really shaykh to do that. The Goyim would take the menorahs, they would throw it down. It wasn't something you couldn't leave it outside. the menorahs. And by the way, there were times in history when they weren't even allowed to put it by the window. So the Gemara says, "B'shas hagzeira," you just put it on your table, you light it, v'daya, and that's enough. Meaning, there is the aspect of Persumin Nissa for the Rosh Hashanah. But if I'm not doing that, the Persumin Nissa is for the Bnei Habayis, for the families in the home, inside the home.
You said in our time, that was according to Shulchan Aruch or Alter Rebbe. We said
Shulchan Aruch already. Things changed.
500 years ago. You said in our time, we're lighting it inside.
Ready for hundreds of years.
Okay, and then you said the Ashkenazi, they're putting it by the window, so they're following a different opinion, or?
No, everyone's doing it most people are doing it indoors,
Okay.
but the question is where indoors is the most preferable spot. It seems from Shulchan Aruch that window is the most preferable if you could. If not, we light by the door post. By Hasidim, they lit chatchila by the doorpost.
That's the Alter Rebbe in the name of
Not the Alter Rebbe specifically. All the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov. It seems more than Api Kabbalah. This seems to be something more Api Kabbalah.
To be surrounded by.
I'll add something which I think that has to do more with lighting up the lights, the left, putting on the left side of the menorah because it's the smile. The left shows on the klippa, and lighting the menorah there shows on lighting there in the choshech and the left in the klippa, lighting up the choshech. So Api Kabbalah, that's the ikr. The Rebbe once spoke about this, but he didn't. I have to look it up again. But what he said is that he brought up two issues. When you light in public, I'm saying by the window, some menorahs have a back to it. If the menorah has a back to it, I don't know how common it is today as much, but it was very common that the menorah had a back to it. Yeah. When it had a back to it, if you're putting it by the window, you're losing out the Presuming Nissa for the family. You can't see it because you only see the back and the candles on the other side. Now, if you're lighting this menorah, you live in a house a few stories high or a building which is over 20 amas high, which is let's say 30 feet or so, a little over 30 feet. You have an issue because the menorah can't be lit higher than chaf amma because people's eyes don't lift up so high naturally, and you have a back to it, so you don't see it, and outside no one sees it. But he didn't really explain all scenarios why we shouldn't be lighting by the window. I think it's something a Kabbalistic thing. It's my own feeling.
I had to walk from home, from Cincinnati home, and across the St. Parkway. Fourth floor, light by the window.
Do you remember that?
And the Rebbe told him, what, you know better than...
You were here in Tafshalamed?
No. I'm going Chavor. But the story was known that it's printing a few times in Chabad. The Rebbe told him you're doing against Halachos, and you know better than the Rebbe. Like
So,
it's Chabad to do this.
what I heard is that this sikha that we have about lighting the menorah inside, why we light inside, was said after he saw Rabbi Rifkin from Tervadas, the Rosh Hashiva. The Bel Rifkin, the Shiva Tervadas, who was a Tamim who learned in Lubavitch. He learned by the Rebbe Rashab and Fidik Rebbe. So that he walked by the building in the corner, he saw that he had lit.
Got it.
So then the Rebbe said the sikha.
Wow.
That's so the sikha.
It's also interesting what you said about the back, because usually a menorah, you can see it from all the sides, right? The traditional silver menorah that I was blessed to have, you could see it from both sides. So I don't know what these new kind of menorahs, maybe they're more recent inventions.
It's not working. The
old-style menorahs.
It's on. Thermostat's on. It's not working.
You can't
Had a back to it.
I don't know if the fire, if something's going on with the boiler. The fire is not on. That means it maybe not hitting it.
Yeah, some of them have like a design of
Somebody needs to go down and see.
crystal or something like that.
Oh, that's weird.
It's good to go to the ritual.
That was, I don't know, I'm looking for.
A menorah, why do you have to add to it? You're adding.
Yeah, I think it's more of a Kabbalah thing. You see that this is by Chassidim. It's not Chabad specifically. By Chassidim, all of them light. I don't know about all the regular Chassidim, but the Chashiver Chassidim, the very traditional Chassidim, and the Rebbe's, all the Rebbe's, you can see in all the pictures and all those videos of their lighting, they are all lighting in their Beis Medrash with all the Chassidim by the door. All of them do it. Satmer, Ger, bells. You can see all the Rebbe's sitting in a nice fancy chair, right in front of them, a big huge menorah, right in the Beis Medrash. If you look in Amshinover Rebbe, if you ever see, there's a video of him lighting the menorah in his old apartment with his kids running around in tattered clothing, and with no big ceremony happening, and it's in the house by the doorway. Like Chassidim was out, I think it's more of the Kabbalion. Look into it more, but Mistama has to do with lighting up the smile and the choshech over the chaloin. Either way is a pi halacha okay. Shiloh, what's the preferable method? Let's be clear. Pi halacha either way is okay. From Shulchan Aruch, it does come out. It's much more preferable to light by the window. So what's the oilam that lights by the window? It's definitely a pi halacha preferable that way. Yes, pi halacha that way. Sorry, by Chassidim was that they did not do that. They kept to the old minig, and in Europe, they weren't always able to light through the window. They lit.
He's a silver store called Sorfim, so
Yeah.
in Bengal Airport they have a display. You could buy whatever you want. So one of them is a huge menorah made out of silver. Maybe 3 grand or more, 5,000. They'll deliver anywhere around the world. But I told the guy when he put it it's that small, it's supposed to be in the tefach. The menorah is so big. It's like, the door is like this. It's the menorah here. You know what I'm saying? Like this. I'm just a salesman.
You have to stay in front of the menorah for half an hour, right? Okay. So if you light it in the door well,
Sometimes
right?
some of them are like,
Of course, from the, and then you decide after that half an hour to go put it by the window. Can you do that?
Sure.
So you can leave it
After a half hour, you could move it.
Uh,
After a half hour, you could move it. You could pick it up, put it on a table. Let's say you have children running around, or whatever reason you not feel comfortable leaving it at that spot. After half an hour, pick it up and put it on the table. Put it somewhere else.
Put it by the window.
You want to put it by the window? Put it by the window. You'll have both shittas. You'll have a half hour there, half hour there. The husband, the wife, everyone's happy.
Let's see how figure about parties. So how do you turn them off? Or for safety, let's say.
If it's safety, you have to put it out. You have to put it out.
Just whatever. Anyway.
Wait for at least a half hour to go by.
Right.
Preferably a half hour after nightfall, meaning not after sunset.
3-star.
Preferably a half hour after the 3 stars. If you could, if you can't, as soon as a half hour after
Oh,
sunset.
you're saying light it after Shkia, but extend that. Don't start the countdown.
You know what? Let's give me 2 minutes. We're gonna be there. We'll learn the halach inside.
by the Kiddush Shluchim, by the fair,
Yeah.
guy who made now Aron Kodesh that's fireproof and waterproof. He also made for a council tefillin holder and for a Megillah holder, and he also made these mats that are fireproof, so that if it spills or anything, including a blanket. I bought the mats. I'm going to try them.
What you put it underneath the menorah?
You could either underneath the menorah or the Shabbos candle.
But we have a silver foil. It's cheaper.
I'm just saying that this is.
Is this for Ner Mitzvah?
It's also space age technology.
Baruch Hashem, people found ways to make money.
If a Yid makes a product,
A Yiddish cup.
use it.
Yiddish cup. Look, if it's convenient, it's convenient.
So don't have any
They have Ner Mitzvah has a special tray you can buy.
It's a certain set size. It's not like a.
Okay, that's good. Listen, whatever works, it works.
No, but the aluminum foil,
It's not as nice. It's not as nice.
It's the thickness is very thin.
Ah.
Foil. This doesn't matter.
I hear you. Right? Sivches, mitzvah anicha l'mayla, migimel tfachim ha'karka l'mata masara tfachim. It's a mitzvah, meaning it's better to place it higher than 3 tfachim on the ground. Reason being, when it's lower than that, you don't see it. It's all the way on the ground. Lift it up off the ground. Olamata masara tfachim, better to light it lower than 10 tfachim. Lower than 10 tfachim. No, it's not talking about Esrim Amr yet. Because
That's
again,
so-
because then it will become it's more knickers for for the ner mitzvah. Because if you do it higher, that's where you place the regular candles that you need to see. You put it below that yud, it looks like it's something special for the mitzvah you're doing. It's not in the regular spot.
Okay, thank. So להניח למעלה 3 טפחים.
V'minicham l'mayla miyud yatsa. However, if you put it higher than yud, yatsa. V'minicham l'mayla me'esrim ama lo yatsa. You put it higher than 20 amas, not yatsa. L'mayla me'esrim l'sholta eina. Umishadar ba'aliyah yachal nicham ba'chaloin apishagoyim yitfachim.
You said 30 feet,
Around 30 feet, yeah.
which is like the second floor usually, around that's
No, it's probably every floor is probably 10 feet.
so it's,
Every floor with the ceiling and with the insulation.
yeah.
It's probably an average of 10 feet. I don't know. It's probably you could look it up online what floors are usually, but it's probably around 10 feet. So yeah, you have to be up pretty high, like on the fourth floor, to start getting into issues.
These menorah to Israel between Tel Aviv and Yerushalayim on the mountains. It's not a question of menorah, but just for some reason. You need a crane to go up to light it. It's like 5 or 6 floor high.
The large menorahs, the large Chabad menorahs, they make sure that it's just under 20 amas.
That's way,
The
way
shear.
more than 20. Way more than 20.
Well, there is a machlekes about the sheer amma.
You could see it from 1 mile
Which
away.
which menorah?
And between Yerushalayim and Tel Aviv.
Well, maybe it's not considered a halachic menorah.
No, it's a menorah. It's a menorah. There's huge.
You don't make a bracha on
But
it.
there's no bracha.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a menorah.
you don't make a bracha
You
on
could
it.
see it like from really far away. Really nice.
What about if you light in the basement, do you feel your obligation, or do you have to light again at home?
Sure, 100%. Today, no one is yaitza from the menorah in the Beis Medrash
Oh, no.
or the Chabad menorah on the street.
No, if Barrett's lighting over here, he's here.
Oh,
See, he lives here.
okay, what about women? They have to do it also, women? Or they yotze with the husband?
In some Bachrim, they light. I see some Bachrim, they light in 770. I don't know if they asked any Rav if they're allowed to, but if they sleep on the benches there and they eat their food there, they can light there. Other than that, they're not allowed to
They are
light
the
there.
owners.
Not allowed to light there.
They are the owners.
They have to light where you eat or where you sleep. So light it where you bekvius, where you always eat, where you usually always eat, where you always sleep. You cannot light it in a house which is not yours. For example,
You go to your parents-in-law and have a party.
very important. People make a very common mistake.
Yeah.
They think they can light in other people's homes, menorah. It's not correct. It's clear in the Poskim, and Shulchan Aruch says that Taz brings down a case. Someone is eating by someone else's home. And it comes as man of the Chanukah, lighting Chanukah.
You have to stop, go back to the house, light, and then go back to the
It
party.
says you should go home, light, and then you can come back, but you have to light in your home. It's not your home. You have no responsibility to light over here. Your responsibility is to make sure there's light in your home, where you eat and where you sleep. Now, the Taz writes, what happens if you have, there came upon you this type of achila, and you cannot leave this party where you are. There's such good donuts there.
Or they'll eat you.
The Taz.
That's your dinner for tonight.
He doesn't say the word donuts, but he says there a lashon like ochzei taivas achila. Basically,
It's like
you're not ready to leave this party.
if that's your dinner and you can't, like, you don't have dinner at home. You have dinner.
I mean, not. So let's just get the basic, and then it's a good question. So he says, then send a shliach home to light your candles at home. So make a shliach to light your candles, but you have to light in your home.
Yeah.
And the Magen Avram also says, like, make an appoint a messenger. Say, ask one of your family members, someone go home, please, and light, because I cannot leave this great party. But what you're supposed to really do is leave. But if you can't leave, you're stuck there. You look at the food, you can't take your eye. You might leave. Someone might take all the sushi. It's going to be a big problem.
That shliach has to light before you eat.
I don't know. No, I don't know about. That's already another thing.
Making
About-
it shliach.
That's about a din, about eating before a mitzvah. And
Right.
about, I'm not sure about that. It's a good question. But the Magen Avram also says, he doesn't discuss the Taz, they didn't see each other's works. The Magen Avram says that you have to light where you eat, where you sleep or you eat, b'kvius. That is your place where you sleep and eat. You can't just go one time and eat a meal somewhere. The Taz is very clear. Eating a once a meal, people have this thing, oh, I ate a donut there, I ate a supper there. I know many people say this and do it, and I'm letting you know, Pishach and Larich, there's no heter. Now,
You're saying don't go on vacation during Hanukkah, basically.
no. That's no.
Out of state.
Okay, good question. Let's clarify. Now that we heard the basic
Yeah,
din,
so
let's discuss these different scenarios that Shalom's bring
try to
up.
go to the party later, light at home, but let's say you're already at the party, then you don't stay too late and you come home.
What happens? You, let's say, went to New Jersey. You had some family member invited to a Hanukkah party. You're there for New Jersey. You're going to be eating your supper there. You're going to be there the whole evening. You're only going to come back time you get back to New York late at night. It's not you light there. Reason being, that's your home for now. You don't have the ability to just go back home. You're far from your home. It's not like what the Taz said. This is where you are now. This becomes your place. It's like you went to a hotel and rented it for a few hours. This is your place. If this is your place, you don't have the option of going home. So that's your place. This becomes your place. So if you invited someone from far away, by the time they're going to get home, it's going to be late and past the time of pursuing Nissa, when people are no longer walking around in the streets. People are not around anymore. So you then at that point, this is their mucking. But other than that, someone's coming over for an hour or two to your house, they should be lighting at their home. Preferably before they came to eat supper by you. But if that wasn't the case, then they should go and light after when they go home, not to light where they are by you. This happens also a lot with older people that they like to they go to their kids, their grandkids, and they come and they don't, and especially elderly women. She's not used to lighting because women didn't light when they were younger. So now she's alone and she thinks, oh, let me go to my son's house and he's going to light for me. It's not correct. She has to light by her or have her son light for her in her home. That's just she should go to. Now, let's take a look a little bit further. If your window, when you're in this attic, the second floor, third floor, is higher than 20 amas from the floor of the Shusarab in the street, the the people walking in the street don't look up so high. Put it by the doorway in your home. Better put it by the doorway in your home.
Minister for your house is better than nobody see.
I want to get the sifyud, but let's do tests.
Okay.
The candles should be in one row. You go online and you see this type of menorahs. They sell different types of companies, one higher, one lower. It's not kosher. It should be separated enough that they don't become like a torch. The flames join together. It's not an avuka. It has to be independent every night. You have to using wax candles. It's very hot. The wax candles can melt each other. They have to be separate. They shouldn't heat each other up. And important to be careful with some of these very short wax candles that they actually burn for the half hour. Because of the short ones, if you have a suffix, put them in the freezer and then use them. So will take a little longer for them to.
If it stands straight, there's no wind, then it'll be out.
The beginning, maybe once you have a few candles, there's a lot of heat there.
Right away.
They can vary. It's a big shaila. Maybe you'll have one. Hopefully you have one there. You should base that will be for a half hour for the ikra din. But you're losing out the mahadrim and a mahadrim. It's not kedai. Now Baruch Hashem they used to always have the standard small candles that we always used to get in the house. Those boxes. Every charity organization, Moised would send us those blue boxes, the traditional. Remember those blue boxes? You got 10 of them before Pesach. From all these koilim, the Lower East Side, and who knows where. It would send you these with these old pictures of old Jews from 50 years ago.
Take like 2 or 3 of them and wrap them around and use them together.
That's going to be avuka. It's going to be problematic.
Yeah.
But now there is a lot better ones that are bigger, so we don't have to rely on those. Even when you give them out, I really should try to give out because the shluchim give out, get the bigger ones. Mila kaida shem, we keep up psilas. You filled up a plate of oil and you put wicks in there. The problem. Im kafala kli kol psila b'shul ne'echad. If you put on top of it something like a cover on it, so then it's all considered like it unites them all. They become like one. What they only did one candle. Loy kafalakli. If you did not put a cover on it, I feel in there echad, it's not even considered like one candle. She can do it. It's like a bonfire. It's like a fire, a whole bunch of wicks together. It's not even like one ner. Ner shalistei pieces yoysul yadika b'sham filalishim shalek nek heker kamenes with likin. A ner which has two wicks coming out of it. Two people shouldn't light on it. Even the first night, two people shouldn't light on it because it's not clear on which night, how many layers each one is lighting. Okay, the halacha we wanted to get to, if you're Zman Hadlakas, when is that time?
Like Shabbos also, putting a Dutch in a bowl, lighting it. Or just Hanukkah, that should be like the.
I mean, there's no issue over here. There's no, I don't think so. I don't think Shabbos would be an issue, but I'm not sure. It's a good question.
Not that it matters, you don't have to light one anyway.
I think somewhere I remember seeing one of the poskim saying that a Medur. No, I don't. These halachas are not discussed in Halachas Neder. Today's Sama Gimel does not discuss these halachas.
Sometimes you go away for Shabbos, I'll put it in a bowl or a couple whips and floating whips.
No, it's not a problem. No, I don't think it's any problem. Look it up again, but I don't think it's a problem.
Why?
You said the 20 Tefachim? That's to the top of the candle at the bottom of the
10 tvachim. The 10 tvachim.
Which up to the table?
There's 3, 10, 20. We should do it above 3 tvachim off the ground, which is about 9.5 inches
Talking
or
about
so.
the candles or the top of the wick or what?
Machlekes hapoiskin.
That's what
Some say, good question. Some say when we make this counting, it's by the not. Some say it's at the top of the flame. Some say as long as the base of the candle is below, even though the top of the candle is above, it's not a problem. You should do it in the right way. The whole thing should be under. Time when we light is right away when Seisek Chavim hits. These few words here are subject of a big machlokes. There is 2 shitas when you should light. Some say to light by Shkia, and some say to light by Tseis. This has to do with the words in the Gemara. The Gemara clearly says in Parakim Adlikin, those that learn the Gemara, it's a braise. It's a braise in Parakim Adlikin, that we light Chanukah Tana Rabbanan Mitzvasa Mishatishke HaChamon. The mitzvah is from when Mishatishke HaChamon the Kal Yirigla Tamadai until the feet of this nation called Tamadai has left the marketplaces. And Rashi explains they were this nation, this culture, these people, they were the ones who sold the wood. People who had the firewood would stay later than everyone else because people after those days, remember, people worked around the sun. They didn't have electricity. They worked around the sun. When it became dark in the winter, they went home early. In the summer, they stayed working later. You wake up with the sun. You go to sleep with it. That was the life, very natural. So people came home and they noticed, I don't have enough firewood. I need more firewood and heat. We're gonna have to bring some firewood into the shul here. So,
what about s'mores?
So the Maisa,
firewood stayed late.
they stayed later. So people would come home, they come back, and they would be able to buy. So they would stay there another half hour later, around a half hour. The Rambam writes, "K'moi chatzi shah," around a half hour. Now, when does this half hour start? The Braisa said, "Mishatishka Chama." There is a machlokes what this means. Mishatishka. Does it mean like when the sun sets, shkia, what we call sunset, and you light at sunset and you let the candles light for a half hour? At least, when it says this is very much connected to a different brisa in the same paragraph Madlikin. The brisa talks about when is Shabbos, when is the twilight time when Shabbos comes in. and it uses the term Mishatish Hachama is when Ben Hashmashes twice himself a Glaila. So
4 minutes.
there's a second sunset. Mishatishka means the sun is already set. It's from past tense. It's a later period of time, which is almost close to an hour after our Shkia. And that's what we find Rabbeinu Tam. Those that follow Rabbeinu Tam's man, they have a much later Zman. I think we've spoken about this in the past. So depending how you learn that Mishatishka is how you learn this Mishatishka. So basically, the Gra learns right away and Hilchas Chanukah that Mishatishka does not mean Rabbeinu Tam, because he passed like the Goinim that Mishatishka Hachama, what it says by Ben Hashmashes means our sunset, not like Rabbeinu Tam. So the Mishatishka Hachama, what it says by Ner Chanukah, also means our sunset. Rabbeinu Tam interpreted Mishatishka Hachama by Shabbos to mean a later Shkia, where the sun really sets further into the sky, into the Rakia, like almost close to an hour after our sunset. That's when you're supposed to light. I'd say close to Tzeisik Yicham. So, because of this machlekes, is machlekes in Klal Yisrael, when is the optimal time to light? Those that go with the Vilna Goin and go with the Alter Rebbe hold with the Goinim. When it comes to Zmanim, they hold you should light Shkia time, from Shkia on, and a half hour, at least a half hour from then. Others hold Tzeisik Yichavim. The Kitzur Shulchan Aruch lived in Hungary. In Hungary, they always follow Rabbeinu Tam. In Hungary, he writes clearly, "Man at the kosa miyad Tzeisik Yichavim." Because in Hungary, everyone follows Rabbeinu Tam's man. So we learn Mishatishka Hachama means sunset. Means Tzeisik Yichavim. Now it's a half hour Tzeisik Yichavim. The Rebbe in a letter, there is a minig Chabad. It comes from previous Chabad Rebbes that we should allow the candles to light at least 50 minutes. They didn't explain why.
5-0.
And that 5-0. Clearly in Paiskim it's a half hour. Where did the number 50 come from? So someone asked the Rebbe this, and the Rebbe said he did not hear from his father-in-law reason for this custom. However, possibly he says the reason is because we try to be Yoitza both Shitas. We light by Shkia, but we let it stay up to a half hour after Tzeisik Yichavim. So since in certain places it was 20 minutes when there was a small shear of between, in the wintertime when the time between sunset and nightfall is very short. So let's say it's around 20 minutes. So you have 20 minutes and then you have a half hour, it's lit after Tzei. So it's about 50 minutes. In order to should be, you light by Shkia, but you make sure you have the half hour according to the other opinion to help after Tzeisik Yichavim. Now, Lamaisa, do we have a minyan of say?
We're missing one.
Missing minyan? If you did not able to light that time, you're working, people are not home yet, you wait. You light later. Today, we don't light on the street, and we don't have this nation Tamadoi around. Our streets actually, they're hustling and bustling Avenue J and to much later times. So the time changed, the time of Pirsumi Nisa. And more than that, even when outside is totally quiet, I don't know what time, but 10, 11, when Avenue J shuts down, the stores, what?
Oh, the short stories.
The stores, the restaurants shut their doors. When do they shut? 10, 11, they say no more customers coming in. People are not really going out anymore. So
People going to Minyan or whatever they want to catch.
Okay, but
Thank you.
Shear.
So Lamaisa, at that point, you still have the ability to light later with a bracha if you have someone in the house. If there's someone home. If there's no one home, and it's already past the time when anyone is there on the streets, there you're coming into a machlokes. There is one of the poskim, the Chemed Moshe, from the early poskim from a few hundred years ago. He held you can light a whole night with a bracha, even no one is home.
Yourself.
However, if yourself, no one's home, and the streets are totally quiet. However, so Mishabura, others disagree with that. Mishabura says if you follow, you definitely should light to shout the bracha. Mishabura says that if you follow the Chemed Moshe, like we're not going to protest, like he says in the Sharet Tzin. One thing you could say is always better if even if you're home and it's quiet. If it's before Chatzos, you could light with a bracha because the Marshal held that the Siyum Hazman with a bracha is Chatzos. So if you do it before Chatzos, even though there's no one home and even though the streets are quiet already, you can rely up until Chatzos with the bracha. After Chatzos, you're already getting into a Shaila, and then I'm going to tell you to either call a neighbor over, call someone over to see your lighting after Chatzos, if you want to get out of all Shailas, or call your local Orthodox rabbi. Thank you for joining, everyone.
We like by the door.
Yeah, Zayagazan, thank you.
Thank you. Tzlacha.